Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, all of the people watching this on YouTube later on. Now, today we're doing a tier 3 sub VOD review of Ascendant 1 main player from Israel. First time I have a player from Israel that I'm coaching, so let's see what he is doing today. It's Ascendant 1 lobby on Bind, and let's see what he says first. Like, he says that I want you to review my VOD and explain about game sense, movement, and positioning. I'll try to do that, but you know, I don't know what to explain, but we'll see in your VOD, I guess. Now, when it comes to his tracker, like this act, it's okay, you know, like 1.2 KD, not the best, but generally speaking, everything above 1 KD is fine. His headshot percentage is generally okay, like 25% is like, you know, the bare minimum that you should try to have in Valorant, and 25% is actually really okay. I mean, I'm speaking about the Vandal, and overall 20% is, it's okay, not too shabby, not too shabby. His win rate in this act is actually up, like to see that, and he's good with the Fade. Even though he's not getting the kills, he's winning the matches on Fade. And on Sova he's a bit better, but he's losing the games. Generally speaking, you know, I recommend to players, like, stay away from fucking Sova until at least Immortal 1. Like, most of the times you'll be watching your teammates on the camera, dying in the bomb site, and essentially it's not worth to play a character, like, literally. There's so many boosted players in Ascendant, Diamond, Platinum, so many shit things happening in those lobbies, and it is absolutely not worth playing Sova as an initiator all the way up to maybe Immortal 2, Immortal 3, that specific elo. Now, when it comes to, like, maps, let's see the maps. So he's playing on Haven, the Fade, and Sage. Okay, you can stick with them. I mean, you're definitely finding, like, finding success with Fade and Sage on Haven. They're fine agents for Haven. On Haven, Sova is a bit better, but once again, I will not play Sova even in my wildest nightmares on Haven. On Haven, what you can try to play if you already enjoy initiators, like on Haven, Gecko is really good as well. Like Gecko, Fade, Breach, these agents are really muy bien, muy bien. On Lotus, Fade is completely fine, even though I feel that Breach is 2 times better. But if you're already finding success on Lotus with Fade, keep playing Fade. On Bind, Fade is fine, no problemo. On Bind, both, you know, Fade, Breach are very, very strong picks, and I would definitely play them all the way up to Immortal 1. On Pearl, Fade is borderline the best initiator, so essentially, like, yeah, I can easily recommend you to stick with a Fade on Pearl. Ascent Sova, you know, even though on Ascent Sova is the best initiator, like, majority of your games on Ascent you're gonna lose on the attacker side. And if you're watching on camera, your team is dying because of the tripwires of the enemies and because of the, I don't know, like, essentially, you don't have any impact on the attacker side. Yes, Sova is extremely useful on the attack of Ascent, but below Immortal 2, Immortal 3 lobbies, it is a Sudoku playing Sova on Ascent. Play Fade on Ascent. You know, play Breach on Ascent. Breach is great as well. Like, if you already enjoy playing initiators, like, both Fade and Breach for this elo are 10 times better than playing a stupid Sova. On Fracture, I don't know what's happening for you on Fracture. Like, Fade is really good initiator on Fracture. But, you know, once again, on Fracture, Breach is the Giga Chad. Since you're not finding that much impact with Fade on Fracture, I can heavily recommend you to try to test out the Breach. Like, Breach is a monster on Fracture. On my main account, in Radiant, I'm playing Breach quite a lot on Fracture, like Brimstone, Breach, Jet. Like, those are my main characters on Fracture. And, you know, 33% win rate, I mean, it's okay for the Fracture, because on Fracture, on defense, if you have a boosted teammates, it can be really, really hard to win the games, but especially hard with a Fade. I Fade just doesn't have enough utility to play defense of Fracture, and Breach is just 10 times better. So if you can switch for the Breach on Fracture, I would definitely recommend you just go with the try it out. You know, you're already this bad. What can go wrong? You lost 8 matches on Fracture. Test out the Breach, you know, try to see how you play with him. Maybe Gecko. Try to have some fun, you know. Like, try to test out different playstyles. Even though I say to the players, like, you know, stick to maximum 2 or 3 agents, all the way up to Immortal. I mean, you're already in Ascendant, and maybe, you know, on some maps, just Fade is not that impactful agent to be played. Like, I feel that you should be trying to mix up the Gecko, Breach, and Fade a bit more on different maps, all the way up to Immortal 2 and 3. And that will definitely give you a bit of the higher win rate, essentially. On Split, once again, Fade is not bad, and Sage is kinda mandatory, but below Immortal 2 and Immortal 3, I would never fill in my fucking life. If you're already not a Sage main, Sage player, fuck it. You can win the match even without the Sage below Immortal 2 and Immortal 3. Like, majority of your games below Immortal 2 and Immortal 3, you're going to win or lose based on how you perform and based how good or bad your teammates are. If you're playing Sage and your teammates are poo-poo caca on the attacker side of Split, GG, well played, Cool Tigers. Play Fade, play Breach. Gecko on Split is not bad, like, to be honest. You know, if you're already an Initiator player, fuck filling. Initiators are great, like, you can easily reach Immortal 1 and Immortal 2 with Initiators, like, even though Omen and Jet are 10 times better. Still, if this is your playstyle, if you enjoy playing this, go with that. On Split, you can play KO as well. You know, why not? It's fine. On Ascent, for an example, you can maybe try to test out the KO gameplay. On Ascent, KO is great, like, to actually deny the tripwires and nanoswarms of the Killjoy players and Cypher players, and maybe instead of playing Sova, you can test out the KO on Ascent. Now, when it comes to the weapons that you're using, fine, Vandal, Enjoyer. I don't know how Ghost is the second weapon. This is where we might have a problem. Ghost as a second weapon, I don't know how is that possible. So I can already see some gaps in your economy management here. Like, I've never seen this type of a tracker in my life, where the Ghost is actually the second most used weapon, and Spectre is third. We'll see. Like, I have no idea, like, what's happening here. Your impact in pistol rounds, semi-bias and ecos is shit. Like, but probably because in pistol rounds, you're only playing Ghost on every single map, and that's not good. Like, you need to adapt your buy rounds and your economy based on the map that you're playing, not what you prefer. Like, you need to expand yourself as a player. You need to learn how to play the Shorty, how to play the Judge, Stinger, Bucky, every single fucking weapon in Valorant. Like, so that you're an adaptive player, and you can adapt to every single map, every single scenario, and it's gonna be easier for you to actually carry these matches. Like, usually, I have the highest impact in the pistol rounds. Second is the full buy rounds. Third is the semi-buys, and fourth is the eco. But even in the eco rounds, I have a bare minimum of 1 KD. So not being able to trade yourself for even 1 kill in eco rounds, it means you're doing something terribly wrong with your economy, or you didn't just expand yourself as a player on much higher levels. Like, whenever I'm coaching the players in my private sessions, I'm trying to teach them how to be adaptive players, how to adapt to every single scenario, every single map, anything. Because if you're not doing that, especially in Ascendant lobbies, you're going to be hard stuck there for a very, very long period of time. When it comes to, like, everything else, it's fine. I mean, you know, not too shabby. Like, the only thing I would recommend you is, like, you know, don't fill if these two agents are already not suited for you. Test out the KO, test out the Breach on different maps, test out the Gecko. Gecko is powerful. Gecko is really OP, like, on some maps, and it's far better than a stupid Sova, you know, below Immortal 2 and Immortal 3. Okay, let's see now what he's doing on this map and what he can do a bit better. I'm sorry guys that I'm sounding a bit tired in this video, but you know, I just played 7 very enjoyable matches of Valorant ranked solo queue. Now, let's see what he does. Oh, just a second, sorry for that. I need to turn off the audio here. Bind fade. Can we turn on this? Oh, this is 720p. Okay, pixelated. Generally speaking, like on bind, if enemies don't have the sentinels, it is better to push the B site than pushing the A site in the first round. Like on bind, you need to look at the B site as your default bomb site. Essentially, playing the post plant on B site is far easier than playing the post plant on A site. Also, B site, theoretically speaking, should be easier to push and also easier to aggress, because your teammates can make a very limited amount of mistakes. And if you already see that enemies have no sentinels in the first round on bind, just call for the 5-man push on B. You know, like doing some kind of a 3-2-4-1 split, and that's it. When it comes to like bind, also like when you don't have Sage in your team, so if you don't have a Sage, try to finish most of your rounds onto the B side, because planting the spike on A side without the Sage wall is hell of a time. Like a lot of times you and your teammates will get spammed through the smokes, die through the smokes, and essentially like in this match, do we have a Sage? Yeah, we have a Sage, so you know we can also push the A side. Just in this round, it would have been a bit smarter to push B side, because literally they have nothing on B. They probably just have a pop flash of Sky in the B long, but you can play an anti-flash system right here, bait your teammates a bit more, send the dog through the long, and that's it. Now, let's see what he does. And on bind in the first round, if you're playing Fade, I mean, you can go with a Ghost, to be honest, with a Fade. You go with a Ghost and one dog and it's fine. Absolutely fine. Oh.
Enemy spotted A.
Okay, that's a good information.
Here, I'll find you. Mark 2. Bring them down.
This is the exact reason why I usually prioritize pushing the B side on bind than pushing the A side. Especially if you're playing Fade, I mean, executing B side with your eye and with your dogs in the first round is quite easy. Like even if your duelists are scared to push the B side, with a good reveal and the dogs, you can easily push through the enemy smokes, and you can easily, like, you know, take the side control, navigate your teammates through, etc., etc. Like on the A side, if your duelists are pussies, I mean, pushing through this smoke right here is just absolute suicide. You know, like especially if your Brimstone has some shit smokes for you. Also, what we need to pay attention on in this round is look at the reveal. Okay, he gets naded. Look at the reveal now.
Here, I'll find you.
Like, we need to pay attention on this guy here. That guy might be playing a shorty right now, so pushing through this smoke is a bit of a Sudoku. We need to wait for the smoke to disappear, and then we can push through this smoke.
Smoke's down.
Rotate. You can teleport.
Reloading.
Guys, go! Let's teleport.
Now we're cooking.
The raised grenade is very predictable, man. Why don't people ever predict it? Like, the problem of the raised grenade is like, but that is the call out that you need to give to your teammates, like when you're starting the match. Like, tell them to expect something. You know, whenever I see that I'm playing against the KO, you will usually see, let's say I'm playing Ascent against the KO. you will usually see that I tell my teammates, you know, if I'm pushing the A side, play on the contact for like 5 or 6 seconds, wait for the enemy's recon utility, and then I grab the bomb site and then push the bomb site. Like, in solo queue, a lot of the players are playing on the autopilot mode. Not a lot, like 90% of the community is just queuing the games again and again and again, hoping that one day they're gonna reach Radiant, but you will never reach Radiant if you're playing on the autopilot mode, and if you don't polish out your problems, VOD review yourself, and if you don't make a strong strategies for the ranked solo queue environment. Like, it is impossible for you to reach Radiant if you're just playing based on luck. Like, just queuing the matches like 24/7 without any, you know, like, without any reading of the game, and essentially, like, without polishing your problems.
Heal me?
Why didn't you guys see
10 seconds.
Smoke's down.
I'll find you. Healing you.
I don't know.
That is why, like, Scar, you will see that even when I'm tilted, even when I lose a lot of the games in a row, I usually perform on the same levels every single match. Because I have polished my game knowledge, my game decisions, my overall adaptiveness and team play to the levels where I don't need to think about that at all. The only thing that currently sucks for me is my mechanical skill. Because I didn't touch aim training for the past, like, 14 months. And my mechanics are really, really bad at this moment of time. Like, literally, you know, even though I got Radiant last act, still, like, my mechanical skill can be 10 times better. But I'm able to play consistently every single game, because on every single map, I know what to do in the first round, second round, third round, when the enemies are eco, full buy, half buy. I can read the enemies regardless of a scenario. And follow the enemy's usual patterns and mentality in solo queue. Like, it is very, very important that you spend, like, the time that you spend in the game, as much, you know, as much time as you spend in the game, you should spend equally that amount of time working on your problems outside of the game. VOD reviews, aim training, deathmatch, figuring out some playbook and strategies and tactics that you can actually abuse in the ranked solo queue. Like, you cannot just play, you know, based on feeling. Like, just do something, like, and adapt yourself 24/7. Like, you need to have a solid set of strategies, you know, how you want to execute something, how you want to push something, how you want to pressure the enemies. Like, you cannot play like this.
Reloading.
Okay, come back. Okay, fake and come back.
In this round, in this round, like, the main problem was, like, pushing the A side. Like, if the enemies already don't have a sentinel on bind, just push B side in the first round always. Like, if the enemies don't have a Sage, Cypher, or Killjoy, B is a free bomb site for you. Like, literally, like, you know, how the fuck enemies are gonna defend it. They're probably gonna play some kind of a pop flash in long, push through the long with a ghost, you know, with a dog, do the reveal on the back side or inside of the site, and that's it.
30 seconds left.
That was
go,
a
go,
good
go.
kill.
Last player stand.
Not bad. The ending of the round was fine. Like, just, you know, we wasted so much time. We wasted so much time, like, on this aim and area of the map, that essentially it was impossible, like, for us to do anything. Like, if you already get stopped, like, try not to lose the lives. Try to play a bit slow, and either reheat the bomb set on the contact, or rotate immediately. Like, getting picked apart like this is the most stupid thing you can do in Valorant. Like, in that first round, I would have instantly called to my teammates, like, hey guys, let's push 5, B side fast, I would go through the B long with 2 of my teammates. I would send probably the Cypher and I don't know, like Sage through the hookah and just pushing the B side. Like, why would I waste that potential when enemies already don't have a sentinels? Like, I don't know how can you defend the B side properly without the sentinels. Like in this match right now, if they're not abusing the B side, that's an immediate mistake. That is why you need to understand the maps to a bit higher levels. You need to understand the team compositions to the higher levels. Like, unless enemies, you know, are mechanically extremely good, I don't know how else they're gonna do that. Now, I respect this shorty purchase right now, but with a fade on the attacker side, you cannot play shorty in eco rounds and halberd rounds. Like, right now, if I'm playing fade, like, I'm definitely just gonna play a classic pistol, maybe buy 1 dog, and that's it. Like, in this second round, when you lose the first round, I mean, how are you gonna close the gap with the enemies with a shorty? Maybe if they give you some bad smoke that you can abuse, like, for example, if they smoke you in the choke point here, maybe you can find a kill there, but this is a waste of money, in my opinion, for Fade. Like on Jet, Omen, and Movement type of characters, you can force the shorty in the second round, but with a Fade, you cannot do that, simply. It's better for you to save the money for, I don't know, utility in a third round, and that's it.
No charges. Where are you? Mark 1.
Bro, that could have been so good, actually. Ah, man, that was just unlucky. That was full unlucky. So sorry for doubting you, man.
Where are you? Mark 1.
That was a nice try. That was a nice try. I loved it a lot. The only problem is, like, when you're using the shorty, you really need to take your time to actually aim. And your circle should primarily be around the enemy's body location and not on the enemy's headshot. So essentially, like, you know, you will see whenever I'm using the shorty, I really take my time to close the gap with the enemies, and I'm shooting only at the moment of time when I think that I have a proper distance between me and my enemies to actually kill them. Like, essentially, you know, short is the weapon where you need to pay attention on your crosshair placement. Even though it's a shotgun, it's extremely important that you're not prematurely hitting your shots, and that you always make sure that you have a proper distance between you and the enemies. So here, he could have waited a few seconds before firing a first shot, fully aiming onto the Rey's body, and then trying to destroy her.
Oh my god.
Generally speaking, you know, with a Fade, especially on bind, like, I don't know. Like, purchasing the shorty and a second weapon, fuck it. Like, you know, with a Fade, just go with a classic pistol. Maybe you can force a Sheriff to try to one-tap the enemies, and then in a third round play the Lightshell and Vandal. Maybe, I don't know, you can go with a Frenzy or some shit like that. But generally speaking, if I'm playing Fade on bind, on the attacker side, you know, I'm gonna use the shorty as my primary secondary weapon when I'm playing every single full buy round. But in eco rounds and halberd rounds, you need to buy the, you know, Stinger, to buy the, I don't know, like Sheriff, to buy the Frenzy Ghost and all of that shit. Now, this is a huge tip for the whole Valorant community. If the enemies have the economy disadvantage, meaning that the enemies are playing some kind of an eco round, halberd round, or a bonus round, always tell your teammates to play as 5 and to push something together. Like, it is stupid in this type of a round where enemies are playing a bonus to play default. Like, right now, I will tell my teammates, hey guys, A site didn't really work great for us. Let's push B site fast. And whenever enemies are in economy disadvantage, on bind, you're always avoiding this and avoiding this area of the map right here. Like, there is, like, when you're pushing B side, for an example, like, whenever you think enemies are playing shotguns in the window, just avoid them. Like, there's no reason to go there. To die from the raised nade. To die from Charlatan playing around the smokes with Omen and a shorty. Like, just push B long as 5. In this round here, enemies have no sentinels on B. Enemies are playing an eco halberd round. I mean, bonus round. Like, they have bonus weapons like Judges, Spectres, Stingers, that shit. It is completely fine to tell your Brimstone, hey, bring me with a Stimmy. Give us a smoke in window. Give us a smoke here. Give us a smoke here. We're pushing the site as 5 through the B long. And you're doing a reveal on the site, doing the dogs on the site, and that's it. But playing default in this round, you know, what is this shit? Like, you will see that whenever I notice that enemies are like playing some kind of a bonus round, like where not all of the enemies are gonna play Vandals and Phantoms, and when I notice that enemies have a economy disadvantage compared to us, like, I will always force my teammates to push through open areas of the maps. You know, if I'm playing Haven, let's go C long, let's go A long, and avoid the short. Maybe on short I'm gonna send my initiators. Or if you're playing like Pearl, let's push B long, let's push A long, let's push A side. Fuck the mid area of the map. Like, there's no reason to pick these 50-50 fights and to lose your life. Like, losing a life like this is the most stupid thing that you can do. Like, in this round, it's just better to play as 5, especially on bind. On bind, one of my number one advice on bind. Try not to play default as much as you can. Like, on bind, like, every single corridor in this map works in the favor of the enemies. Like, this works in the favor of the enemies. This works in the favor of the enemies. This works in the favor of the enemies. This works on the favor of the enemies. Like, the problem is, like, bind is a heavily defender-sided map. And when you're playing default on this map, you're risking way too many 50-50 gunfights that you and your teammates are gonna take, and it is just better to tell your teammates to push fast A, push fast B, go for the 3-2 split, 4-1 split, 5-0 push. Like, essentially, on bind, I will always prefer the team playstyle where we're playing as 5 towards one objective, than playing some kind of a lurking game, some kind of a default game, etc, etc. Like, on this map, I'm gonna lurk and I'm gonna play default only if nothing else is working. Like, you know, if literally nothing else is working for you, that is when you should try to rely on this specific playstyle. But otherwise, just, you know, try to play a team play game.
Here, watch out.
I'll hunt down Scott.
And especially in this round, like, where enemies are literally, you know, bonusing. Here, like, also angle clearing was really bad. Like, angle clearing was really bad, and I can already see that this player is not fully aware of all of the positions where the enemies can be. I mean, if you're already clearing the short area of the map alone, you will always see that what I do is I get up on the bench, I jiggle pick this angle, I jiggle pick that angle, jiggle pick this angle, jiggle pick that angle, jiggle pick this angle. And that is how you properly clear the A short area of the map. Like, you cannot disregard this position and this position, because obviously Raze, Omen, Jet, all of these movement type of characters can play up there. And we cannot just say, you know, you simply cannot, like, disregard these positions if you're already clearing something alone. At the end of the day, you know, just jump spot the enemies, reveal them, go for the swing. Also now I think that because of these boxes, players can actually boost each other's right here, and I think every single character in the game can actually play this type of an angle. So angle clearing here, a big minus.
Anything, I cannot. I don't know why I have the.
As I said, I absolutely respect your effort. I absolutely respect your effort of playing the shorty on the attacker side. Just with Fade on the attacker side, you cannot play shorty as your primary eco weapon. You need to play, I don't know, like Sheriff, Marshall, Stinger, anything with a bit more of a medium range, long range capabilities. Like, this is just, you know, like not even me. I mean, short is one of my primary weapons in the game. Like, when I do a Fade to Radiant series, I'm definitely not going to like play the shorty as my primary eco weapon. With a Neon, with a Jet, with some other characters, you can do that easily. But with a Fade, like, come on, like, this is impossible.
The bomb? Oh, nice job again. Like, you guys really like to peek with no info.
But to be honest, like, considering that Raze is playing there 24/7, maybe we're gonna get a kill now.
I'm gonna leave the bomb on the open.
That is what we call an unlucky timing.
Down
You-
A. 30 seconds.
I normally don't.
No.
You just want to try and get kills and peek without info.
El Clásico. El Clásico European lobby. Music. Music to my ears.
Just play
You
for
have the
yourself.
bomb. You have the bomb,
Play
and
for
you are
yourself.
alone. See? Look at where the fucking bomb
Yeah,
is.
I know, man.
You know? You don't know because you were going here.
Yeah. Because we
Okay.
don't have a plan for the round. No?
Teleport.
For what?
Guys, she's
Where
in.
are you? Bring them down.
Now, you know, this push on the B side was fine. Listen, if you're already playing I mean, this applies to any agent in the game. Like, if your teammates are already this bad, you know, like, these teammates are mentally ill. Let's be honest, like, already from the round 1, they started being toxic, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, already from the round 1, you can categorize your teammates as a bad teammates. If that is already the case, carry the spike every single round. Even if you're playing Jet, even if you're playing Omen, I don't give a fuck what you're playing. Like, just carry the spike with yourself, so that these guys are not selling the spike to the enemies for free, and you're not playing a fucking retake game of the spike on the attacker's side. So, that is something I would apply as an advice, like, in almost every single lobby. Like, if your teammates are bad, just carry the spike yourself, and if you're doing some kind of an aggressive play, just drop the spike behind yourself before you push to the choke point, and the spike is at least gonna be there with you. Like, this Cypher, right now, only God knows what he is going to do. Like, nobody knows. And I still recommend you, no matter which agent you're playing, to buy the shorty as your primary secondary weapon. Even after the nerfs, shorty is gonna be very, very powerful weapon. If you have economy for the shorty, keep the shorty as a secondary weapon. Now, when it comes to the utility usage, on B side with Fade, like, you know, you can drop your eye on top of the site,
Where are you?
like there. But personally, what I prefer, when Fade is playing with me, is dropping this eye at the back of the site, like this.
Find you.
Only because, like, majority of the players on B site love to play, like, inside of the tube. And that is the very common position where you're gonna see the enemies. So if you're already dropping the eye up here on top of the site to reveal the enemy's backside and to reveal the enemies on the site, definitely
Bring them down.
use your dog inside of the tube, because there's gonna be someone 100%.
Bring them down. They're blind.
Teleport.
For what?
Guys, she's
Where
in.
are you? Bring them down. Bring them down.
That fade dog that he did in the elbow was actually good to pressure the enemy Sky into the elbow, but this type of a mistake should never happen for an Ascendant 1 player. Like this, dying with your utility in your hands. That is simply unacceptable. This is something that should never happen for an Ascendant, Immortal, and a Radiant player. Like, do your utility from some kind of a safe location, do your utility from the smokes, but entering the site with your C's in your hands. Like, I will never pick up my utility in my hands when I'm pushing some site or if I'm executing some position. I'll always try to hold my gun, try to clear all of the angles, etc, etc. Like this type of mistake for an Ascendant player, unacceptable.
Blind.
My man, like, as I told you, like, if you already have this bad of a teammates, pick up that spike and try to carry it yourself. Now, what I usually recommend to the players in solo queue is, like, try to avoid pressuring the, like, pushing the window and pushing the showers during your gameplay as much as possible. Like, but if you notice that enemies are pressuring you here way too many times, you can definitely try to go for some kind of a kill like this and try to, you know, get an easy frag for yourself and hold the enemy's peak and hold the enemy's push. So what he is doing at this moment of time, it's fine. And anyways, if you're playing initiators such as Breach, Sova, Fade, so some, you know, characters that can easily clear all of these corridors with a utility, it's fine for you to push there, like, it's not a problem. Just the crosshair placement here is a bit high, and your crosshair placement should be a bit lower at this moment of time. Like that initial crosshair placement was literally for the, you know, Yao Ming, bro. Like that is way too high. Like, come on, let's pay attention to the crosshair placement. Like, we're Ascendant players, we should not be making such a simple mistakes. Like, you made a mistake of angle clearing, crosshair placement mistake, and utility user mistake. Like, come on, those things can be polished to levels of perfection.
Yeah, nice job, Jet. I don't know why you always pushing like that.
Spike down A.
I'll find you. I've got your trail. Bring them down.
One thing that I will highly recommend you is to pay attention to the minimap a bit more, and generally, during your gameplay, you always want to play with a spike carrier. Like, if my Brimstone right now is carrying that spike on B, I don't give a shit about A set anymore. Like, right now, I'm fully focused on to what my Brimstone is doing, and I'll try to support my Brim as much as I can. Like, already, as soon as this Brimstone took this spike, and he started running towards B, I would instantly go towards him and push with him. Because the most stupid thing that you can do on the attacker side of any map in Valorant, in any match, is playing the retake game of the spike. Like, playing the retake of the spikes is just absolutely stupid.
I'll find you.
You know, right now, you should have been with that like Brimstone, supporting the Brimstone, because we know that this guy loves to play elbow, doing the dog or something, or some utility for your Brimmy, and that's it. Like, I don't know what you're doing here. Like, trying to catch off the enemy's rotation. Fuck that shit. Like, if you already see that you're losing a match 0-5, your teammates don't exist anymore. Like, you need to use their lives to bait them, to trade them, to play with them, and to correct their mistakes. Like, you need to pay more attention, like, on these topics.
Spike down B.
Rezalet. Catch them.
Last player standing.
Okay. Okay.
My continue to
I love how EU players like toxicity for EU players never stops, man. Never stops. Why did he see us there? That series was not a bad idea, because one of the enemies used the TP, and one enemy could have been in the teleport at that moment of time. That series was actually okay utility usage. The only thing is that I would wait for the C's to actually deploy inside of the teleporter, and then I would push the TP. Because otherwise that C's has no purpose at all. Once again, I would carry the spike, and I would pressure the enemies with some of my most useful teammates. Like right now, it makes more sense to push B. So I would take the spike from the Cypher, say to the Cypher, switch pula you motherfucker, you know, suck my big schlong, and I would be prioritizing Brimstone, pushing to the B long area of the map, and trying to execute the B site.
My eyes are down.
nice job, Sage.
You need to pay attention on clearing the angles properly. I'm 100% certain that right now he is not going to clear that top pillar right here.
Nice job.
Bro, I'm getting tilted while watching the VOD reviews, man. This is something that is unacceptable for an Ascendant and Immortal player in Valorant. Like, if you're already pushing towards the A short area of the map, I mean, you need to expect the enemies on every single off angle, every single common angle, and clear it with a proper movement and a proper proper crosshair placement. Like here, if I was peeking this angle, I would clear this, bam, 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 pushing forward. Then clear this, bam, bam. Usually, you know, like what I try to avoid doing, I don't really like clearing from the right side here, because angle perception advantage from the right side is shit, number one. Number two, like, as you're pushing here, you can already get fucked by one enemy that is there. So usually what I prioritize when I'm pushing through the A short of bind, I prioritize going from the bench, clearing all of these angles. One at a time, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And now, pushing into the A site.
Object.
Crosshair placement, 0 points. Angle clearing, 0 points. And prioritizing your teammates, 0 points as well. And understanding the maps, 0 points as well. I shared with you the bind, the exclusive coaching videos, like how to actually play the bind, how to understand the map on a higher levels, and all of the different setups and things that can happen on this map for you. Try to watch these videos and try to apply everything that I have explained within those videos. Like, simply, you know, if enemies already don't have a sentinel agent on a defense, push the B side.
By the way. Let's go AFK. You don't add nothing to the team. Nothing, but
Oh, they won the round. Hog!
I'm dead, by the way.
Last player standing.
They won this round.
One enemy remaining. Clutch.
Nice job, Cypher.
You forget.
You too.
I always
Bro. Enemies went full troll mode.
play high.
Listen, man. If something is already not working for you for like more than 3 times, abandon that strategy, abandon that push. Let's try something else. You know, like if A short is already not working for us, enemy jet is playing there with an op, they're playing off angles, they're picking you apart, Raze is nading you, Raze has the ultimate in this round. Let's push the fucking B side.
My camera is destroyed.
Bring them down.
If you want, you can push.
Where
Oh, please, God. Proper angle clearing. Proper crosshair placement angle clearing. Proper blah, 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 blah.
are you?
You want to push?
Are you loaded? Take hold.
One enemy is playing in the short and he's spamming like that, bro. Enemy is shooting Yao Ming, brothers. LeBron James. Crosshair placement.
Need healing. No charges. Mare, take them! Blocking sight.
The hunt begins.
Fight rough. Get out of my way. I have the sight.
Ooh, this is a good play. This is a really, really good play that he's going for. I mean, they're right now they're 5v3, but his teammates in the showers are stuck as fuck. You know, stab bro, I'm stuck. So I would also do this play that he's going for right now. That ultimate that he did in the lamps was fine. You know, it was not bad. You know, to pull that enemy from the lamps towards the backside to secure this round, to win this round. Like, whenever you think like that a certain ultimate is gonna secure your round, just use it. The only time when I'm gonna be saving my ultimate is if I'm like, I don't know, 3 versus 1, 4 versus 2, 5 versus 2, etc, etc. This play is good, this play is good. That's okay.
Light planted.
Bro.
Yeah, I
One
think
enemy
that
remaining.
Molotov is gone.
Now, if you know you're playing on the A side, the post plant, and one enemy is on tower, like, so just simply go on top of this angle, delete that enemy. Like, I've never seen an Ascendant and low immortal player have a good crosshair placement for this angle. If enemy is already there, try to go for one tap, delete that enemy. Why not?
My bad.
Like this peak is actually bad, because this is a very common position, common angle, and something for which enemy Brimstone can have an easy crosshair placement. But that peak from the boxes is something that 99% of Valorant players are never actually observing. They're never placing their crosshair there, and it's an easy fight for you.
Still waiting.
That
I'll
was
find
funny.
you.
7, by the way.
Like, that is another problem of Ascendant players, like, and low Immortal players. I really feel that a lot of players in Valorant reach Ascendant and Immortal 1, low Immortal, like, with a very poor game knowledge. Like, you need to have extremely high map knowledge and overall game knowledge if you want to have a good game sense and generally good game decisions and higher chances of winning ranked solo queue matches. Like, one of my primary focuses in my coaching sessions is teaching players everything about this game. Like, which angles you want to abuse, how to abuse certain positions, how to play on a certain maps properly. Because if you don't understand the fundamentals of the game in ranked solo queue, your chances of winning these matches and rounds is like 50-50. Like, it's a pure gamble.
Here.
Last player standing.
Oh, fuck me in the ass, bro. This is, ladies and gentlemen, why you're holding the shorty as a primary secondary weapon. Like, exactly because of this. Buy the stupid shorty, it is still gonna be OP even after the nerfs for these type of rounds. In this scenario, like, definitely, if I was you, I would have prioritized playing with a Jet a bit more. Like, essentially, if you heard that Brimstone pushing into the site, I would have tried to play some kind of a refrag game with a Jet and do my best to refrag this idiot.
Last player standing.
But I think he's gonna win this round anyways. Like, I think he's not losing this round. Like, he has, like, there's no way that enemy Brimstone will be aware that he is behind him. No way, no way, no way, no way.
Run.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, we're still in, we're still in.
What? Let's forget that round, guys. Ooh. Okay.
Where are you?
Okay. Okay, like, if you think enemies are holding you on B long, and especially if you think that enemies might have the op, it is okay to use a reveal for the B long. The only difference is that I would really try to use this this reveal in a bit different way, to be honest. Like, I think we can, you know, we can have a much better reveal than that. Like, maybe, I don't know,
Where are you?
bouncing it off from the wall and placing it here. I don't know, like, the problem is, like, I really want to reveal every single position here before I push into the site. Like, maybe just placing it a bit more deeper,
I'll find you.
like that.
Nice.
Reloading.
Listen, whenever you're playing against, I'm Scar, see you in the next stream, man. Whenever you're playing against the pop flash type of agents on Bind, always play the anti-flash system in the B long area of the map. So bait your teammates a bit more here, let them push in front of you, hold this angle or this angle right here, and just wait for the enemy's flash. Like, the worst way how you can die in the B long area of the map is by, you know, Phoenix pop flashing you and killing you, Sky pop flashing you and killing you. Let your teammates go a bit more in front, and then, you know, like, push behind, you know, try to refrag them.
We'll catch them.
No one's
There. Bring them down.
Okay. I don't know what happened in this round. Like, okay, let's talk about another topic. If you have the numbers advantage, when you have a bad teammates, so once again we can agree that our teammates are bad. Like, our teammates are simply not doing anything correctly. They're dying like potatoes. If you're 5v5 or you have numbers advantage, like, try to play a bit more of a trading game. Because if your teammates are already this bad, you cannot trust your teammates to actually close out these rounds. So even if I revealed with my dog an enemy in the B long here, I would have let my Brimstone peek first, and I would have tried to refrag that Brimstone, and that's it. Like, you will notice that even when I'm playing Jet and Omen, I am baiting my teammates from time to time, depending how good or how bad they actually are. If my teammates are this terrible, as your teammates are, you need to play a bit more of a baiting game if you want to have a bit more success in the ranked solo queue. Like, what I mean by baiting game? I don't mean a baiting game when you're pushing, like, into the site. Like, if you're pushing into the site, you know, if nobody wants to push, like, I'll push him first, I'll use all of my utility and enter the site, it doesn't matter, instead of wasting my time. But every single death that you take in Valorant, here, and here, is a preventable type of death. You can jump spot the enemies, and then peek them. You can clear the angles a bit more methodically. In and out, in and out. You can let your teammates go in front of you, and then refrag them. Use some kind of a recon utility. Like, every single time during your gameplay, when you die here, you could have done something better with your movement, with your positioning, and with your overall gameplay. Why is the VOD so choppy, man?
I've got your trail.
Like, essentially, and also, when you're clearing the B long area of the map and peeking the enemies from the B long, you should never peek the enemies in the way that this Fade player did. Let me go back to that round. Where the fuck is that round now? So, you will notice that whenever I'm pushing the B long area of the map, I'm always pushing by hugging this wall here. And then clearing this, jump spotting the enemies here, and then peeking the enemies. Because if you're swinging this area of the map, like this, enemies can be on so many different vertical and horizontal position, waiting for your peek, and you're always in some kind of a disadvantage compared to the enemies. Like this area of the map, you either need to jump spot and then swing the enemies, or you need to clear every single angle methodically, one by one. Bam, 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 bam. Like, there's nothing, if you already don't have a recon utility here, everything else is way too dangerous. As I said, man, like, I absolutely respect how much you're trying to play the short in these rounds, but with a Fade, I don't know, you need to be a magician to make the shorty actually work in equal halberd rounds on the attacker side of Bind. Like, if I cannot do it, I highly doubt that you as an Ascendant 1 player can actually utilize it well with Fade.
Reina's always pushing showers.
Party's over.
Nice.
It's a good kill.
Where are you? Marked one. Enemy spotted A.
I can full gun. Big.
Block. Gotcha.
Very good kill.
No charges.
First, last one, last.
Enemy spot. Your block. Gotcha. No charge.
Once again, like we're coming to that problem again. Like, try to be a bit more patient. Like, once you already make the numbers advantage, like there is absolutely no reason for you right now, where we killed 3 enemies, to try to take the full site, you know, like immediately. Like, as soon as you make the numbers advantage in Valorant, like, slow down the pacing of the game. You don't need to plant the spike. You know, like, basically, whenever you're 4v2, you should always prioritize the numbers advantage and numbers over the map control and over planting the spike. Just make sure that, you know, if you already made those numbers, that you're able to preserve those numbers and follow up your teammates a bit more. Play a trading game. Like, right now, it would have been really smart from both you and your Sage if you just regrouped and then hit something together, instead of forcing this push into the site when we already know that the Reina loves to play A site, and we know that the Brimstone is also on A because he is obviously using a Molotov in the in the lamps.
Enemy spot.
Just teleport.
Yeah, you can do
Teleport. Just let.
Once again, you know, in solo queue, especially in those type of matches, like, I would try to prioritize playing with a spike carrier, and essentially, like, bro, did you finally hit Radiant? The goal is not to hit Radiant in the series, man. The goal is to hit Immortal 3, and every single series is gonna be from Unranked to Immortal 3. But considering what type of matches we play today, I might go back to my original idea to getting Immortal 1. Like, these players, I don't know, like, I don't know what change the title then. When the Jules changes his title, then I'm gonna change it.
Maybe fake B and go away.
Oh, no one picked name.
Fake B, Jet.
Or is a name?
Maybe shotgun.
On this.
She went back here.
Bring them down.
I heavily recommend you, like, on Bind, to play a bit more of an aggressive gameplay and playing together with your team than going for these type of defaults. Like, essentially, if your teammates are already you know, going to hit the A site, just play with them and that's it. Like, on Bind, default playstyle is never worth it. Like, only because every single choke point is working in the favor of the enemies and not in your favor. Run to A. Instant run to A.
Just go B, go B, go B, guys. Fake it, please.
Nice.
Clear the long. Good.
I'll find you. Bring them down. Take hold.
I mean, listen. Like, when you're using the dog instead of the lamps window. Sorry, man. Like, I'm so tired today. If you're using the dog instead of the window, that's how you use the dog. So basically, the dog needs to clear the enemies on the right and enemies on the left. Like, basically, you're curving it towards the left side and then fast towards the right side, and that's it. So the dog needs to clear everything here and everything in this area of the map. Like, that is what's important for you. And especially if you don't use your dog to clear the left side, always clear it yourself before you go into the window.
Go B, go B, go B, go B.
Right now, it would be really stupid from both you and Sage to die from one enemy that is on the left side, right there.
Nice.
Not bad kill.
You good face.
Very good, very good.
Not for long.
I have VOD, I'm gonna play for VOD.
Honest.
There.
You're stuck here. Maybe it's here.
You know, try to keep the shorty as a primary, secondary weapon, especially on the map like Bind. Like, on Bind, you will end up in this type of a scenario way too many times, and right now pushing through the smoke would be 10 times better with a shorty, where you can just delete one enemy like this, instead of going in with a Vandal. And whenever you're pushing the smokes, like, always push them sideways with your shoulder and do a fast flick into the smoke. Like, basically, there should not be a single moment of time where you push the smoke, like, face forward, like this, and enter the smoke. Always sideways, so that the tip of the gun is not the first thing that enemies see.
Oh, one behind, one behind.
Holy lolly, man. Full panic mode, huh?
Oh, one behind, one behind.
Okay.
I with that.
I'll find you.
One beacon.
Marked one.
On the right.
That reveal that he is doing, like, for the A side is actually not a bad reveal. But usually, if you're playing, if I'm playing Fade, I will try to save my reveals once we're actually pushing the bomb sites. I mean, all of these angles you can simply clear by jump spotting the enemies. Like, what is the problem? Like, when we're pushing into the A site, to just do this and clear the enemies. Like, why do I need to use my eye to clear these positions? Then I would be using my eye, you know, maybe to drop it there as I'm pushing the site, doing the dog with my eyes to follow the enemies and to pressure the enemies, and that's it. Or, I don't know, using my eye at the top of the site. Like, that eye is so powerful to clear all of these angles. But, you know, if enemies destroy it immediately, that is a problem, because we're not applying any pressure from the short and from the showers. Essentially, when you're playing Fade, like, you want to use majority of your utility, of course, to clear the angles and clear the positions where the enemies can be, but also you want to use your utility as a pressure-making tool to distract the enemies while you're actually entering the site.
Take hold. Get out of my way. Bring them down.
Nice, good job.
Okay, not bad.
Nice, good job.
Not bad, not bad. When it comes to your mechanical skill, I'm going to share with you one of my private training routines. Like, I can definitely feel that you have a problem with map awareness, game awareness, problem like with crosshair placement, problem with micro adjustments in a gunfight. And after we finish this VOD review, like I think one of my training routines will suit you really good to fix all of these issues. Like unfortunately, I cannot explain all of these problems, you know, individually. You will need to tackle them through some kind of a training. Okay. Now, on the defender side of bind, basically, like, you know, B set is something that you want to prioritize majority of the times, especially in the first round. If you lose the B in the first round, playing the retake of B set is hell of a time. Like in the first round, I will never allow my teammates to control the B, and I will always use some kind of a classic pistol shorty strategy to fuck up the enemies. Like with a fade in the first round, you don't need to do the classic pistol shorty strategy here, maybe. You can just play on the site, you know, with a classic and shorty, wait for the enemies to come and delete one enemy with a shorty. Or maybe you can tell one of your teammates to bait for you and to destroy the enemy's utility. You play the classic and shorty right here, wait for the enemies to push, your teammate destroy the utility, bam bam, easy kill, get back onto the bomb site, and that's it. Like, but in the first round, starting on the A side, especially with the 3 players, I would never do that on bind. Like B set is so much more crucial and so much more important for you on this map than A.
Time to work.
And if I'm already playing the first round on A side of bind, I will just go with a classic, shorty, light shield, and that's it. Wait for the enemies to come into the window, delete one enemy, bam bam, and, you know, make a numbers advantage for my team, and then play the retake.
Where are you?
That eye is really good. Very good eye, very good eye. I love how he, on the attacker side, he prioritizes buying shorty in every single round when he's eco with a fade, and in the first round on the defender side, he doesn't want to use the shorty, or I don't know, like when he's buying a vandal, he never has a shorty as a primary secondary weapon.
In A.
Okay. To be honest, like he done the best he could have in this specific round. Like literally, even pushing here after the enemies took the front side control, this was a bit risky because enemies have still the sky flashes, they have the Reyna flash, they have the raise boombot, and you need to pre-assume that enemies are going to be deploying this utility instead of the lamps. I mean, usually what players do on bind is like what normal players should do. Like whenever you're pressuring the lamps area of the map, you want to do some kind of a dog, boombot, anything before you go into the lamps. Here, he could have just played a retake game with his teammates, give the enemies the lamps, and just play a 5v5 retake. That was okay. Now, you know, already from the first round, if you win the first round on defender side, you can apply the rule of fear instead of your gameplay. Like, usually players in solo queue are afraid to repeat their own mistakes, and they are afraid to actually pressure you in the same area of the map where they lost the previous round. So in this round, you know, I would definitely be playing on the B side and telling my Jet to play A, or my Brimstone or someone else.
We'll catch them.
That is the easiest rule that you can apply in your gameplay in solo queue, because I don't know why players in Valorant are afraid to push the, you know, the same bomb site that failed for them once. If something doesn't work for you once, that doesn't mean it is a bad push or a bad hit. Like, maybe it's just a matter of luck. Like, do you know how many luck factors are there in Valorant? Like, one missed position utility can ruin the outcome of the round. One lucky shot can ruin the outcome of your round. Like here, when he killed 2 guys in the lamps, that was a complete luck. Literally, like he killed the second player only because enemies were, you know, missed their shots and they were bonobos in that specific round. Like, you know, it is way too predictable right now that enemies are gonna play some kind of a default, or that their enemies are gonna primarily try to pressure you onto the B side.
Down.
Like the AB rule and rule of fear is something that every single player should apply on defender side. Like when you're playing defense on any map.
I'll find you. A little help?
Is there people there?
Okay, one huge tip in this situation. One huge tip. If you already are playing the shotguns in some kind of a close quarter or angle, try to bait the enemies to come towards you with your secondary weapon. So if I'm already playing Judge here, I'm not just gonna hide and wait for the enemies to push me. Like, enemies should already be smart enough to pre-assume that you're gonna play here. And what I will be doing, I will be jiggle picking the enemies with a classic, trying to bait them into coming into the lamps, making them think that I'm actually, I don't know, playing only classic pistol that round, and then using the Judge to surprise them and kill them. This is what I do with the operator quite a lot. Like, I'm always playing the op with a shorty, and the players think that, you know, they can easily push me with the smokes and dashes and utility, and I pull out the shorty and just delete them.
Don't go fetch it.
Yeah, you can stay all night.
I mean, when the enemies are equal hull by on the attacker side, there is almost no reason for you to pressure the enemies or to play aggressive. Like, when the enemies are equal hull by, your gameplay should be a very basic, boring gameplay. Like, essentially, you should just try to focus on the raw, like, refire potential. You don't need to push into the smoke. You don't need to surprise the enemies. Enemies are already in a huge disadvantage, economy disadvantage. So right now, what you should have simply done is jiggle pick from the lamps with a classic pistol, give your teammates the information whether or not enemies are gonna hit the A site, and wait for them to push into the lamps and just destroy them. If they don't push into the lamps, trust me, you will find an opportunity to surprise them from the site or from the lamps at a certain moment of time. If you already have 3 teammates on A site, there is no way that enemies will not try to pressure you here.
Sky push.
On showers.
Them down.
Full of showers. Screen back.
Oh, 3 on lamp. Okay, then.
Healing.
Spike down A.
Okay, this is good positioning now.
I'll find you.
Let's play together.
Mark one.
One
50 on
enemy
jet.
remaining.
Nice.
No charges. Reloading.
30
Reload
seconds
here.
left.
That enemy taken
Okay.
out.
Good job, good
Okay.
job.
Does somebody have a...
Okay, listen. Holding this type of an angle with the shotguns is impossible. Like, in this specific position, you're in such a huge angle perception disadvantage where enemies are gonna see you light years before you actually see the enemies. Like, essentially, if you already want to play in the lamps with a shotgun, you need to play there, here, or if you already want to hold this angle, you need to hold it like this. So basically, exactly like this. So, like, if you're holding this angle as far away as possible, like this, if the enemy is peeking you from this wall, he is going to see the tip of your gun before you even notice that enemy. Number one. Number two, on this distance, like, you need like maybe 3 or 4 shots from the Judge to actually kill that enemy. But if you hold this angle in this way, then enemy is gonna be a bit closer. You will eliminate a bit of the perception advantage over the enemies, and maybe you're gonna kill that enemy with like 3 shots of the judge. And whenever you're holding these type of angles in Valorant, like you always want to place 1/3 of your crosshair instead of the actual wall. But to be honest, if I'm already playing shotguns instead of the showers, I will try like to jump spot the enemies, make them push me, and then I'll probably try to pick the enemies when they come close and try to surprise them with a judge. But you know, holding showers with a judge and shotguns from this angle is almost impossible. Like you're always in some kind of a disadvantage.
Just go back, Sage.
Not in front of A.
Okay.
Jet dashed. Lamps.
Okay, in this round, this lurk and flank is, you know, it's okay. Like whenever you're playing bonus rounds or some kind of a rounds where you're in the economy disadvantage, you can definitely try to switch up your gameplay a bit more and try to do something that usually you would never do. So, you know, this is completely fine only because they're playing an equal half by round.
I'm coming to you guys. One close lamps.
I mean bonus round.
Planting B.
Fuck.
There's one, there's still one, there's still one.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Okay, I'm waiting
Go
for you.
together, guys. Good.
Huge mistake here. Like why we didn't pick up the gun from the dead enemies? Like why are you retaking now the B site with a judge? Doesn't make any sense. Like you have these very small mistakes in your gameplay that should never appear for an Ascendant player. Not even a Diamond player, to be honest. And all of these mistakes are easily fixable. And you're just autopiloting like left and right.
Where are you? We'll catch them.
Inside. Who's inside?
Bring them down.
Can go now, Cypher.
Reloading.
Maybe.
I mean, if you want to play the game in this specific way, with the shotguns and everything, why the fuck are you playing Fade then? Just play Jet, play Neon, play Omen, play, I don't know, like play Yoru, like you cannot successfully close the gap with the enemies with Judge and Fade. Like, I mean, that's borderline impossible. What the fuck is this stream time? This stream time is called Charlatan. Charlatan played a lot of Valorant today. He lost a lot of matches because of his mentally ill teammates. In every single match, Charlatan was the team MVP and match MVP, and still he could not carry these bonobos.
Elbow. Fake
I'm
defuse?
taking.
Today I lost my mind, man. In solo queue, literally, like I don't know what the fuck I played. Actually, the last 3 days, the matches were absolutely horrible.
Last player standing.
Nice, good job, everyone.
If they try,
I mean, the main problem in that round was why didn't we pick the weapon from the dead enemies? When we killed that Sky, why didn't you take the Vandal for the retake of the B site instead of the Judge?
Where are
I
you?
think it will be B.
Get out of my way.
That's actually a good lineup. Unfortunately, he missed it. That is a really good lineup to reveal the enemies there. I love that lineup. That's good. Like, we have 2 lineups here. We have one lineup on the left wall and one on the right wall. And it's really good to switch up things a bit to reveal the enemies.
In my opinion.
Bring
Okay,
them
it's
down.
not.
They're blinded with fear. Take hold.
Stay Jet, stay.
Okay.
Good.
Fought by me.
Good build.
Also, this repositioning that he did to help his Sage was an amazing game decision. Like, this is how you want to play Bind, and this is generally how you want to play Valorant. Like, as soon as you notice that, you know, enemies are eco and halbay, they have low economy, your teammate is getting pressured somewhere, don't allow your teammates to play 50-50 fights. Try to refrag them. Try to correct the mistake of your allies. This was a really, really good idea. The problem is, like, he panics a lot, like, in those close range gunfights. And we need to apply some kind of a training there, like, to fix this problem. Generally speaking, his micro corrections suck ass, and that is easy to be fixed.
Spike
Be more there.
Okay. Try to play shorty as a primary, secondary weapon, period. Especially on Bind.
Spike
Be more
down.
there.
Maybe safe.
I'll find you. Marked one.
Now listen, whenever you want to play a classic pistol shorty strat, whenever you want to play shorty as a primary eco and halbay weapon on any map, like, still keep the classic with yourself. Like, as I said, like, you're using your classic pistol to bait the enemies to come towards you, because enemies are more prone to push you into the lamps if you make them think that you have a classic than if you have a shorty. So for example here, you know, we could have dropped the shorty there, did this reveal up there. Okay, enemies are pushing. Jump spotting the enemies, trying to poke them a bit, going back. Jiggle picking the enemies here, trying to poke them a bit, switching to shorty, and then baba.
Oh, hook on.
Going B hard.
Yeah, smokes on B already. Yeah, out inside.
Reloading.
Bomb.
Spike down. B.
Where are
Dim beacon down.
Bring them down.
Give them the bomb if they...
But to be honest, like, you know, if the enemies are already stuck in the lamps, and I need to choose between the stinger and shorty, I would probably choose the shorty to hold this angle and decimate one enemy and then kill the second enemy with a stinger. But it doesn't matter, to be honest. Like, both weapons are fine.
They're pushing you. Just give it. Give the bomb.
That Brimstone idea was actually really good. What Brimstone did in this round, that was amazing. For Ascendant players to think in this way, this is actually really good. Like to sell the spike there, and to go all the way into the B set from the B long.
30 seconds left.
That's something that I would have done.
Last player standing.
But also something that I would have done in this round is once again clear all of the angles properly, because we have no idea where the enemies are, and you definitely need to pay more attention on like, essentially whenever you're playing Valorant, like, you want to play Valorant with a pre-assumption that enemies can be anywhere and everywhere. So you need to clear every possible off angle, common angle, where the enemies can be at that moment of time, when you're pushing through that specific area of the map.
Scotch.
Take.
He's off.
I'll find you.
Let me see something, just a second.
No,
Now remember, wipe the prints from your gun.
you have to give the bomb there because
Press the tab,
they're
press the
gonna
tab,
push
press
you
the
like
tab,
madmen,
press the tab, tab, tab,
and
tab,
they
tab,
think
tab,
B
tab,
is
tab, tab, tab,
safe. That's just because of that.
tab, tab. Okay, good. Enemies are playing a full by round. Okay.
So they know.
This lineup is actually really good.
Take hold. Nightmare, take them.
I mean, that's too much utility for nothing. You know, like, Like, whenever you're using your ultimate, and whenever you're using your C's, you want to use it at a moment of time when you know that there's a lot of enemies pushing there to delay the enemy's push, potentially fuck them up, and potentially kill them. Like, this utility dump that he did here has no meaning at all. Like, why would I use my C's, I, and ultimate for the enemies there? And anyways, like, when I'm playing Fade, I'm really trying to save my ultimate for the clutch rounds, and I'm trying to use it for the retakes primarily. Or if the enemies are really, you know, doing some kind of a 5-man aggressive push to a certain choke point or area of the map, then I'm gonna use the ultimate. But here, we just use the ultimate for nothing.
Marked one.
Smoke speed. A.
Bring them down.
Right now, as the enemies are executing the site, would be a good idea to use the ultimate. So basically, you know, okay, we did a reveal there. We revealed the enemies on that position, whatever. Now, we know that enemies are there. We're holding the lamps. Enemies are pushing us. Jet is doing the execute. I am doing the ultimate to take an easy kill on the Jet, to push the enemies backwards, and also to allow my teammates to have easier gunfight with the enemies. We kill the Jet. We seize the enemies in the short. Our Jet is aggressing, jump spotting the enemies, peeking together with the Jet, killing the enemies.
They have ulti from Raze.
Bam.
Nice.
Spike down
Okay, that's
A.
enough.
30
In that round, like, just that utility dump really didn't make any sense. Like, why would I throw, like, 3 of my very useful utilities for nothing? Just to delay the enemy's push? To delay the enemy's push that didn't even start at that moment of time.
Where are you?
In this round, I would have played a bit more passively because enemies have, like, on bind. If you notice that enemies have the Raze ultimate, they have the Sky ultimate, they have the Brimstone ultimate. Like, you cannot play on the site. Sorry, but you cannot, like, basically, with those 3 ultimates available, this area of the map is out of boundaries. This area of the map is out of boundaries. And you need to play either on tower or pick this off angle to try to kill the enemies. Or maybe fight for the showers control and play the retake of the A site. But right now, being here,
Mark 3.
you know, that's really fucked up. Very good that he positioned himself like this. This was actually really, really good. Really good game decision. Papito, have you ever had a wrist pain because of playing too much? I have carpal tunnel syndrome right now. I never had that in my life, so I cannot give, like, you know, I really stay away from discussing the topics that I don't know about. Like, I never had it, so I have no advice there. I did a midlife crisis car purchase yesterday, 20 years early. What you bought, man? Which car? Sorry guys, like, you know, Valorant is an indie company. They cannot keep their servers for more than 1.5 hours, and, you know, we need to get on a server again. ...2023 Mazda 6 GTSP. Very good car. Very, very good car. Anyways, where do I find out more about your coaching sessions and subscription? On my Discord server. Join my Discord. On Discord, everything is written about everything. I would really like to... Valorant. Would you ever take a job coaching a pro team? Never in my life. Did you do the giveaway this stream? No, because there was no giveaway. Tomorrow I'm doing a giveaway. Bro, like what's happening with Valorant, man? Like, the game is dying. I'm not even gonna ask. Best shorty skin is Prelude to Chaos. Very good. And also Araxis is muy bien. Why not? Why would I never coach a pro team? Because that is way too much work. Number one. Zero recognition. Number two. And number three, a suicide for a mental health and just not worth it in general. It is 10 times better to be a pro player than to be a coach for a pro team. I mean, it is 10 times better to be a coach for individual players, like what I'm doing, than being a coach for a pro team. Can you speak Spanish? Habla español. Sí, sí. Okay. Let's see what he's doing.
Don't talk about rotates. They probably go B.
One thing that I don't like in his gameplay is that he is a lot of times prematurely on defender's side using his utility. Like without any given reason from the enemies. Like usually you want to use the fade utility as the enemies are hitting the site, so that you're splitting the enemies apart and fucking up the enemies with your utility. Like, all of this is way too premature. And a lot of waste. You see, right now, as the enemies are executing the site, it would be really good to have a seize, then dogs to support our brimstone, to pressure the enemies, etc, etc.
Step is going, step is going.
One teleport.
Yeah.
Two teleports.
Ooh, that burnt our ass by a lot.
Brimstone
One
to
still
yeah.
here, close. One still close.
Shouldn't initiators save their utility for retake? Not necessarily. Depends on what type of scenario you are. I mean, generally speaking, initiator's utility on defense is the most useful for aggressive plays, supporting your duelists if they're going for some kind of a pick. For the retakes, number 2. But also number 3, like if the enemies are pushing into the site, to split the enemies apart, apply the pressure onto the enemies and potentially get away with 1 or 2 kills into your pocket.
Someone still close A.
I don't see him. You're safe.
Behind 20 healing.
He's
One
inside.
elbow, one elbow.
Prepare for hellfire.
Sage. Rest, Sage, rest.
One elbow, one seat.
Where are
Bro, I can't shoot.
Just wait, Sage, just wait. They
I've
still
got
didn't
your
blind,
trail.
that's good.
Bring them.
I didn't really like discuss his movement and his mechanical skills too much, but he has a lot of the mechanical problems that need to be fixed, like through the some kind of a training, like these problems, like there's a lot of small issues, you know, cross replacement, micro adjustments, movement is disconnected from the aim. Like I'll try to explain you after I finish the VOD review, like through the private messages on Discord, like how to train all of this.
down? Spike planted.
Yeah. I know. It's not too bad. Yeah. I know. It's not too bad.
And also, like, one thing that he needs to pay more attention on during his gameplay is the overall team play. You know, to support his teammates properly with utility when they're executing something, number 1. Number 2, prioritizing the refire potential with his allies and keeping the proper distance between him and his allies. Like for example here, I would never in my life pick the enemies on the B side before my Sage is, you know, behind me, or before my Brimstone actually takes the contact with the enemies. Like there's no reason for me to pick this 50-50 fight if my teammates are already not there to refrag me. And also that Brimstone ultimate, I'm not even gonna speak of, like, what the fuck was that?
I'll find you.
I love these, lineups, like whatever. Like I love these eyes that he's doing for the early information, that he's doing them in different ways. Like this is some kind of a note that every single initiator main can take. Like when you're already doing your utility to reveal the enemy somewhere, you want your utility to be unpredictable. If you're consistently using the eye, or using the Sova dart, or using the KO knife in the same way 24/7 and with the same timing, enemies can just hide from it and push the sight on the contact, and you have zero information for your team. So what he is doing is molto bene.
They have results, be careful.
Going.
Maybe one there.
Yeah, on site.
Jet inside, jet inside.
Maybe here, maybe I don't see it. Yes.
I don't know. As an initiator, I would never in my life go for this type of a lurk and flank. Like, I really feel that right now it would have been 10 times better if he was supporting his teammates on the site with the C's, with the dogs, and actually making his Sage and Jet live a happy life. Like, these type of lurks and flanks, like especially on bind, can get easily punished. And if his teammates right now on site die like a potatoes, I don't know. Like I always prioritize during my gameplay, especially in Ascendant and Immortal lobbies, the refire potential and supporting my allies that are getting in the gunfights at that moment of time, than going for these type of lurks and flanks. Because all of these lurks and flanks can be completely pointless if his teammates right now die on the site like this.
Still planting.
Planting.
One here.
Inside.
One left, one
Spike
left.
planted. Yahasha.
Be careful, Aiden.
Bring them down.
Be careful. Yeah.
One here.
Inside.
One left,
Spike
one left.
planted. Yahasha.
Be careful, Aiden.
Bring them down.
And also, like, if you do this type of a lurk and flank, like, and you end up in a numbers advantage, like, you kill one enemy from behind, like, essentially, a bit better idea than instantly aggressing the enemies is to just wait for your teammates to close onto the enemies and to make the sandwich out of them. So that kill that he got on Sky was actually amazing. But then, every single time when I see him do this type of plays, he instantly pushes the enemies alone, not waiting for his teammates at all to do something. Like, you're playing Fade, man. Like, literally, after getting a kill here, with this lurk and flank, so you get a kill here, just do a dog there. Do another dog close here. Like, just your position here is already a huge mental pressure onto the enemies. Plus, if you use your utility to pressure the enemies additionally, your teammates that are closing onto the enemies are gonna have 10 times easier gunfights and 10 times easier, you know, like, chances of killing the enemies. Like, sometimes it is better to stay alive and apply the mental pressure onto the enemies than actually going for the fight with the enemies. Inside of the showers area of the map, I really don't know, like, you cannot properly utilize the shotguns. Like, I don't know, I cannot do it without the smokes. like all of these angles are way too much of a long range angles, especially now like where this area of the map has been reconstructed. And if you're not playing, you know, if you're not playing here and you're not playing here, using the shotguns from this angle is never a good idea, because the angle perception advantage is working against you. Like here, you know, if the enemies are peeking you like a normal human beings from this angle here, I mean, you're absolutely dead. Like if I'm clearing the showers, I'm always gonna move like this, jiggle peek that, move here, clear that, move here, clear this, clear that, and clear this. And on this range with a shorty, I mean, you can only pray to God that you're gonna kill the enemy, and not even God can help you there. Generally speaking, what you can do on bind, because you know, majority of times on bind you will see this smoke here and this smoke here. At the end of the day, you can just chill in the smoke, you know, with a shorty. Like you can start the round at the backside, get into the smoke, get out, take one kill, trade yourself for a kill. That's already a good job. Like in those eco rounds and halbye rounds, your primary job is trading yourself for as many kills as possible. And you have that type of a mindset. But some of the angles that you're playing with the shotguns on defender side, like, just are not good.
Can you smoke?
Sky hook'em.
Hookah.
Two hookah.
Get out of
Okay,
my
please
way.
also.
Okay, we're gonna rotate.
Find you.
That's good. That's good.
One close red.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Not bad. Really good round by him. Like, even though he did absolutely nothing, that eye was good. The dog was good to pressure the enemies. And once again,
One close red.
I need to emphasize, if you are not within the effective range of the shorty to take a kill, don't shoot your shot. So basically here, like if I'm pushing this brimstone through the smoke and I see that brimstone is on top of the site, it is pointless for me to try to kill that brimstone because I'm not gonna kill him. Like if I'm going through this smoke and Brimmy is up there, I'm gonna do this and try to close the gap with him as best as I can by maybe bunny hopping and doing that. Like, I cannot shoot from this distance and expect to kill that guy. I mean, it's unless that guy is very low HP, it's not gonna do it.
Enemy remaining.
Nice.
Where are you?
Good kill. Not bad.
Nice. Good.
Just chill now, just chill.
Just chill now.
Enemy spotted A.
Also, like, one huge advice on bind: whenever you see the brimstone has the ultimate, when the enemies are executing the A site, instantly get out of the lamps. The lamps is the only area of the map that you should never play. Like, basically, on A site, the most common Brimmy ultimate is this, and on the B site, it is this or this. So essentially, if I'm playing B site and enemies are hitting B, I'm never going to play on the site. I'm gonna play around the window. I'm gonna apply the pressure onto the enemies here, etc., etc. If I'm playing A site against the Brimmy with the ultimate, I can play here, I can play here, I can play on the site, I can play tower, I can play around the showers, but inside of the lamps, you know, if these guys have any good of utility usage, you're gonna die.
Goodbye. My ult is Mare, take them!
Okay.
Mark one. Bring them down.
For example, that was an okay ultimate. To pressure the enemies backwards and to allow our teammates to reset ourselves and basically, you know, right now enemies have nothing to push aside. They have no smokes, no utility at all, and that ultimate was okay, not that bad.
We'll catch them. That's phase 3.
One enemy remaining.
I
think
think
she's
Spike
showers.
Down A.
Might be showers.
Oh, he's here, I heard him.
Yeah, we can.
Yes,
Still
Spike.
waiting. I'll find you.
It's going B.
Flawless.
Okay.
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 Defenders
Back
win.
area.
Okay. Generally speaking, I feel that, you know, you're not playing initiators that bad. Your utility usage can be much more meaningful, like, especially on both attackers and defender side. Like, on defender side, you're doing so much utility dump that, you know, you're wasting a lot of your useful utility to actually pressure the enemies once they're pushing the site. You're wasting the dogs, wasting the Cs, etc., etc. It's okay to use a reveal at the start of the round on a defense to gather early information where the enemies are pushing and where the enemies are, but using Cs and dogs after that without any actual pressure onto the enemies is just a waste of utility. On the attacker side, like, one of the biggest problems are that you are using your reveal way too early when you're starting the round. Like, all of these angles here can simply be cleared by jump spotting the enemies. And now, as we're executing the site, it is much better to use this reveal to actually reveal the enemies, you know, at the front and on the site, using your dog to pressure the enemies. And as we're executing the site, we're using our utility to support our duelist and our teammates. But, you know, I cannot start every single round by doing this instantly. Like, it's just a, like, your reveal should be deployed once we're actually pushing the site. Long area of the map. I mean, you just come here, do the dog, clear this, clear that, push in. We're pushing here, do another dog, completely fine. But I would definitely save my reveal and seize when my teammates are ready to push a site. Doing a reveal up on the site, doing a seize to, I don't know, seize the enemies somewhere, and wherever the fuck we find them at that moment of time. And essentially, that is how your utility usage needs to look like if you're playing Fade. And same applies to Sova as well, and any type of a recon agent like this. When it comes to, like, your playstyle, I definitely feel that on some maps you should be ditching the Fade for the Breach, Gecko, and KO. Like, I really feel that, you know, on map like Fracture, for example, you will find much more success with a Breach than playing a Fade. And on a map like Ascent, you know, fuck the Sova until Immortal 3. Like, just play the KO or play the Fade on that map or play the Gecko, play anything else. Like, in solo queue, playing a Sova before, like, Immortal 1, 2, or 3 is just an absolute suicide for your win rate. Like, you're just gonna be watching your teammates on the drone, how they're dying like a potatoes, majority of the times. Now, when it comes to the mechanical skill, like, angle clearing is terrible. Crosshair placement can be much better. Micro adjustments can be improved to much higher levels. And essentially, like, I usually don't do this, but I am going to share with you, like, one very specific training routine that is going to focus on all of these problems and your overall mechanical skill as a player. Now, let me see, like, when it comes to the game sense, like, he said that I need to explain game sense. Like, game sense is essentially, like, how can I explain the topic of game sense? Like, game sense is like your game knowledge combined with team play, combined with game decisions, combined with team with map awareness, combined with overall game awareness. Like, essentially, you develop your game sense as you're developing your game knowledge. Like, the more scenarios you play in Valorant, the better your game sense is gonna become. And that's why I'm able to predict, like, so well, like, where the enemies are gonna be, how the enemies are gonna play. And as you understand the mentality of enemies, a bit better of players in solo queue. You know, what type of patterns they love to abuse, how they usually love to play 1 versus 1 scenarios, retakes, etc., etc. It is much easier for you to actually read the enemies and to, you know, play on your so-called game sense. Like, I mean, I definitely see that you're missing a bit of the map knowledge. Like, that is something that you can definitely try to improve, and you can try to watch some of my streams, some of my previous VOD reviews, to elevate your map knowledge in general, because your map knowledge is really, you know, kind of low. Like, you need to understand that on bind, like, for example, when enemies don't have the sentinels, it's 10 times easier for you to push and pressure the enemies on B side than pressuring enemies on A side. You need to understand that, you know, when your teammates are shit, you need to play around the spike carrier, and you need to prioritize your teammates a bit better. Generally speaking, as I said, like, I'll share a lot of the useful data with you after this VOD review, and I'll try to explain you these topics through the private messages. I'm sorry for a bit, you know, a bit of a lower quality VOD review today, but I'm extremely tired, and we played hell of a matches. Today on the stream. Okay, that's it for today's VOD review.